Okay, so yesterday there was a meeting which took place in Burnley, looking at health issues, looking at funding issues for the third sector when the GP consortium take over from the PCT. And this is a sort of 2-year programme really. They're looking to 2012-13 to be rid of the PCTs, and then the GPs take over after that. The biggest problem that was highlighted yesterday was the fact that although the GPs want to continue working with the voluntary sector, by the time they get control of their funding, the chances are that there will be a very small voluntary sector, because most of the groups that were there yesterday don't have funding to take them through. Now, again highlighted were the fact that most voluntary sector organisations have a very good relationship with certain people within the PCT that they've built up over years and years. And those relationships are now null and void because the people that they had the relationship with are gone. So people were saying, how do we get those relationships with very busy GPs who don't have time, who don't know about the voluntary sector, who don't understand what the voluntary sector do? And scarily, there were no answers to this. The GP that was involved is the chair of the GP consortia for Pendle, and he openly admitted that he hadn't heard of all but one of the voluntary sector organisations that were in that room yesterday, of which there were almost 50. And he'd only ever heard of one of them. So what hope is there for a voluntary sector who have no relationship with their funders, who the funders have no knowledge of them, and yet we're being asked and we are expected to pick up and offer these services as we always have done with the PCT. This is David Cameron's big society. Well, it won't be a big society, it'll be a very small society, because by the time this happens, we asked for a show of hands yesterday, and 75% of the organisations in that room do not have secure funding beyond the next 12 months. Some of them beyond the next 6 months, and 2 or 3 beyond the next 6 weeks. So what we were ending up with is the fact that this is all being done to save money for the NHS, which is a fantastic idea. But the voluntary sector cost very little and saved very high amounts for the NHS. This has been recognised again and again. If we don't have that voluntary sector, then what's going to happen is that in 2 or 3 years, when most of them have gone out of business, either the big boys will come in and they will take over, which loses your localism, of which everybody speaks so highly, and there will be no small voluntary sector organisations, and at that time we will have to reinvent them. We'll have to reinvent them because they are a necessary part of this big society. They're a necessary part of the whole thing. But at the moment we're saying, let's sweep everything away and start again. Well, that's not the most cost-effective way to behave. If you've got intelligence there, it needs to be used. Why should we reinvent the wheel for the sake of a few £1,000s to keep these people ticking over and then bring them into the whole forum, doing what they do best, using the knowledge that they've got, using the expertise that they've got? But if we lose that, it's going to be more expensive to bring it back.